Barbara Arredondo was named D Magazine's top real estate agent in 2018 and 2019. Tonight, she's joining us to share how she's built a successful career based on courage, confidence, and her core values. Barbara, okay, let's talk a little bit more now about your business advice.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the things that we encounter when we're working, it can be kind of difficult to manage a team. And we spoke about how being a real estate agent really is being an entrepreneur. And these skill sets that you've developed really could translate to other businesses as well. It's not necessarily just being a real estate agent and dealing with homes. You also deal with, accounting and managing a team and marketing. So can you speak to that a little bit as far as just how you've managed to wear all these hats?
Yeah. It really is difficult to be your own entrepreneur. Hiring is, one of the most difficult things, I think, for us. But I just feel like I'm the one that's accountable. At the end of the day, I'm the one that's accountable for my paycheck and what I'm going to bring home.
So what is it like on a daily basis, wearing all of those hats, managing all those moving parts, working with other people, working with other real estate agents and clients, and managing the home showings? How do you do it all, and what is your mindset?
Well, I think one of the things that we had talked about too, and I think that kind of like goes into this topic, but you really can. I mean, there's so many different hats, and so being a leader of all of those, and when you're an entrepreneur, you are your own accounting person, your resource, your operational manager, CEO, CFO. You're accountable for all those things, and those are leadership positions. And so in order to have business at a certain level, you've got to leverage other people. I've got a group of agents that are pretty much considered partnered with me and part of my team. They do their own business and have their own business, but for the most part, they're helping me, get what I need to do on a daily basis, all of those little tasks. So, I think it's just really communicating. It's giving back. It's when somebody does something for you, it's me reading, what do they need? Is it money that they need? Is it a referral that they need? Is it a bartering type situation from me that they need? And just knowing that. And sometimes I'll just ask them, like, thank you for helping me with this. I realize we're closing this deal. Would you like to, would you rather have a certain amount in commission out of this deal, or would you like for me to give you a referral? What is it that you need right now to make you, feel good about the help that you gave me? When you do that for someone, they're more like, they will help you. They're more inclined to help you anytime you want it. I can pick up the phone, and while I'm here, I have agents working for me, doing the things that I needed to do today that I'm not there to do. But all I had to do last night is say, hey, can you do this, this, and that for me? And they'll do it. And I think being in that place, I'm so excited about it. Was I there a couple of years ago? No. But I just learned that if I can help someone and give them my help on a deal that they're trying to put together, because maybe they don't know what they're doing on a certain part of the contract or in this certain scenario, if I can lend my help that way, they're more apt to help me achieve my dream. One thing I wake up every morning and say,
Oh, I love this one. Yes,
yeah,
this is good.
It's done so much for my life. I will wake up in the morning and I will say, the universe provides to me everybody and everything and all the resources that I need today to help my dream become reality. The universe does really supply me with those things every day, but that's also because I'm also reciprocating and giving, right? So I feel like in doing that, I'm also getting answered in this way. And so people move mountains for me, but I also move mountains for people.
So you're in the flow.
Yeah,
You're in the flow. You're not cutting yourself off
Yeah.
with fear or with self-doubt, right? Which are the things that I think just cut us off at the knees quicker than anything else. That's beautiful. And you were telling me that you say it like in the car sometimes.
I do. There's
which is really cool.
Ray Lewis affirmations.
Okay.
If
Ray Lewis
anybody wants to
affirmations.
Download that.
Is it like an audiobook that you can listen to?
No, it's just it's a true affirmation. He just,
Cool.
I don't know, it's like 20 seconds or something like that. And he runs through all these different things to say, like affirmations to say.
Oh my gosh, I love it. We're going to have to all try that.
Yeah, and so in the car sometimes, like when I'm driving, I will say it. So he says it, and then I repeat it.
And then you're like, okay, now I'm going to say it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
and it feels good.
Yeah.
I'm saying it.
And what a good way to start your day.
Yes, it really is. It just really, like, it puts you at a good mindset, and everything else that has happened to you that day, the night before, it kind of just washes away. And you're just like, this is where I'm going today. I don't care about how I felt about this problem or this situation. Like, the problem's still there, the situation's still there. Now, how am I going to change my attitude so that I can deal with that situation and that problem? Because either way, I got to walk through it. There's no other way. Unless you ignore it, and then you can't do that. I mean, you can.
Things are going to be worse then. As far as like your day-to-day work goes, once you've set those positive intentions, once your mindset is right and you show up at work, you manage so many different elements, so many different things on a daily basis. What are the processes that you've learned over time that have helped you to stay on top of everything and keep it all moving?
Well, I think what I'm about to say is big.
All right, everybody, hold on. If you're not already on the edge of your seats, which I'm sure you are, get there now, and we're ready.
It's big, but it's not. but it is. It's so huge. You know those emails that we send they almost say the same thing all the time. So, example, you're working with, someone that you're going to interview, and, you have a basic format, like this is the location, this is the time, these are the things that are going to happen before, and these are the things that we kind of talked about. And that's pretty much the format that you use every time you're communicating with someone you're going to interview.
Right.
So those kinds of things. It's called Google Mail has it's like another little add-on or an app, a feature. It's canned responses, CANNED responses. You can turn in a response that you send constantly to someone, like the same type of course, like, hi Keith, hi Mary, hi Elizabeth. Those things you're going to change on everything all the time. But if you're having to say the same thing at least twice, pretty much because it's kind of like part of your process, it's easy to use that to create a template. It's called a canned response template.
Wow.
So it's very efficient for me. One thing that I always have to do with the buyer, if they have a home warranty program, one of the first questions is, who offers that service? Well, I'm not in the home warranty business, but because I'm servicing that individual's purchase, then I want to give them the information that I have readily, to myself, instead of saying, well, go to Google and do a search on home warranties and then figure it out. My whole thing is, having that concierge experience with me. So I'm going to guide you each way, each point of the process. So with the home warranty, that's one of the canned responses. It's like, and what I say is, hey, congratulations on getting out of the option period. Before you close, you have, it's a blank space, because some people have $500, $600, $1,000 towards a home warranty, and I'll plug that amount in there, and then it just says, contact these individuals if you have further questions, and here's like 10 companies that you can contact.
That's so cool.
So just having that efficiency with anything, my rule is anything that I have to say twice in email becomes a canned response. I do the same thing for text as well. I just save the text in one of my notes. I know that you can put that into like text, auto, something, but I've found when I use that and I type that word, the whole thing just kind of goes in there, and that's not what I wanted to say. So
that is really, really cool.
Be efficient.
Wow. Be efficient. Yeah. So maybe take some time to like sit down and just think about those things that you can simplify.
Yes.
Because then we're not running around spending, minutes that turn into hours on things that just, they're not helping us move forward.
Just streamline, become efficient. And when you do that and you put systems in place, it just, it really does seconds turn into minutes. And minutes to do something can turn into an hour. And so when you're putting those practices in place, I really feel like it saves you time so that you can focus your time on, and not behind email or, text and things like that.
That's awesome.
Saying the same thing over and over.
Right. And having to think about it. Which distracts you and kind of gets you off track, and then you have to, come
and
back
then
to
you're frustrated because you have to say it again, and it's like insanity.
Right. It is insanity. So we have to try to outsmart ourselves and make it easy.
I told
Be your own best friend.
It's huge, but it's really not. I mean,
but those are the little things that like we forget about, but they do have a really big impact in the long run and like kind of overall with our sanity.
Yeah, it does.
People come and go in real estate because it's not an easy business. It's a very specialized skill set. It takes a lot to really get going and then to stay in the market and to do well. What are some of the things that you've noticed that can cause a person to fail?
Well, I've said this before. I'm a real estate agent. I choose to be that, but I can be anything that I want to be. I can plot myself into another profession tomorrow if I felt like it, and start, working hard to prospect.
I love it. Yeah.
And a lot of times, when people look at a real estate agent, they're like, oh, there's tons of them. Yes, there are tons of real estate agents, but there are not tons of very good business people that have a real estate business. So for me, it's that prospecting. And for anyone listening, these are things that they should consider. It doesn't apply just to real estate, but if you meet someone and they're interested, or if you meet someone and you've heard their story, like ask questions, be curious. You never know what you're going to find out out of that conversation. What if they say, next year we're planning on moving? Well, that's your cue. Put them in your phone. Follow up with them at least once a month. And if you feel like you're being a bug, follow up once a quarter. Put that in your calendar. It's so easy these days to set a reminder for yourself. So be curious. Follow up with your prospects. Prospecting it's everything. Every business has to have some sales portion, department of it. And when you're an entrepreneur, as we said before, you're everything. That means you're a creative, but you better sell. You better figure that out really fast. Because
so true. Because you won't be able to be creative and do what you love if you don't sell and take care of, the foundation of the business.
That's right. And if you feel like that's not your strong point, then leverage somebody else's strength. Can you pay them? I don't know. Maybe barter with them.
From here, what is next for you? In your mind, I know you're like, wait, hold on, I'm happy right now. Everything's good. But do you have any future plans or goals? What can we expect to see from you?
Well, one of my goals for 2019 was to really get out there and do interviews like this, be in this magazine.
This is huge.
Just really come out and let that fear, stomp on that fear and say, no, I am worth it. I'm worth it for people to know who I am, and everyone deserves to use me and my services, or an agent that has similar qualities, and there's just not enough of them out there. And so what does that look like? And I think for 2019, that's really happened for me because I've been doing things like this and I'm getting invited to speak more. And that's really like my overall goal. I am a teacher by heart, and I do very well by helping other real estate agents and just any other woman that wants to start their own business or they don't really know how to do it. I'm not a coach. I'm not looking to be a certified coach or anything like that. But I do feel like I have a lot, to wisdom and knowledge to provide other people to help them grow. So I just want to keep doing stuff like that, like speaking, being on panels, I don't know, just being out there and just loving it.
Coming out of, I feel like you've worked so hard and built something, behind the scenes, and now it's like when you climb to the mountaintop, you get to like come back down and like share what you've learned, right?
Yeah.
Share the gifts, like, there's a tree up there and there's this up there, and so it's like I feel like that's what you're doing, and I'm just so grateful that you came to BZen TV to share your story and your wisdom, because this community, we want to grow and be better people as well, and it's really amazing to have a virtual mentor like you that we can. You're such a light, and that's such a beautiful gift to bring to people. So thank you for being here.
It was so good for me when I heard her say, this was one of the things that helped me, but it validated. What she said was that when she did that TED Talk, like a lot of bad comments were on YouTube about like her way she needed to wear something different. It really depressed her so bad that she locked her door in her room and stayed there for like over a week. She would not even come out.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Poor Brene.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
But that's how she was like, oh, I've got something here. Like, who cares, what people would think about my weight and all that stuff. So I think that can happen a lot with you because, of the position that you're in. And, you're just like, everyone expects you to be put together and to look a certain way when sometimes you don't really feel that way inside,
Yeah, and like everyone's human, and I think also like when you have a platform, people take what you or what they perceive that you think of them in a really, really personal way. And the truth is, like, just like everybody else, like I have bills to pay, I have work to do, and just if I can't go to every social event or if I can't do everything, it's not because I don't think you're worthy of being a part of what I'm doing or of the show or whatever, or just because it's on TV, like,
or being excluded.
Right.
Well, you have to look at that too in a way that is like, why do they want me there, right? And so you have to be very selective of who you're going to give your time to. When you are invited to things, you really have to, and you can't make it, and don't feel bad about it, because you also have to understand, why did they really want me there, right?
That's
Versus
a really good
like
point.
their friend who can't come, why aren't they just as equally upset? And it's a lot of times it's probably because of what you bring to that event. It's like a stamp of yay, like we made it, she's here, or we'll get the publicity, or like people will come because she's coming. And I'm not saying don't care about that, I'm just saying care less.
My mom's over there in the audience. I'm sure she's like shaking her head right now, like, oh yeah, she needs to.
They're the ones that should be feeling bad about why they want you to be there.
And I'm a Virgo. I feel really bad. Like I will feel really bad, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I should have gone, or like how, and I'll like empathize to the point where I identify with their point of view over my own. And I'm having to learn, especially, I think God or the universe, whoever you believe in, or whatever you believe in, I think we're placed sometimes in the perfect spot for our tests so we can grow the way that we have to grow to become a better version of ourselves. This is my test for sure, being in a position where people want me to do all these things and having to learn to stand up for myself. And
for sure, it really is. And I always say, like, that's the best growth, when you know you don't want to do something, do it. And when it hurts you, because you're just like, I just can't, and I don't have any sleep, I haven't had any sleep. It's just like, push through it, because that's a growth. There was a year where I had 2 deals, and I was like, oh my God, that's too much. And then I grew, and I had 4 deals a month. And then I was like, oh my God, it's too much. And then can't I just have 2 deals? And so you just kind of like push through it. And now it's like, you know, I'm working like 8, whatever, you know, it's like all of the, you know, 14 listings. And I'm like, yeah.
That's awesome.
Just jamming, you know, but still like now I'm like, I'm going to pull my hair out. But
yeah. Like, remember back in the day when
when
2 listings was driving me crazy and freaking me out?
Just push through it. But too, you do have to like think about that and really sit down and don't listen to the lie that's being told to you if it is a lie.
How do you know personally? Okay, so this is some other advice. How do you personally like discern when it's like, okay, someone is just lying or it's coming from their own insecurity or their own issue, and it's really something that like maybe I should have done differently, or maybe I should be more empathetic, or
I don't look at what the other person is doing or saying or whatever. I always like, it's me. What do I believe? Because a lot of times whatever that person is saying or doing or whatever, I a lot of times will interpret the wrong thing, or I mean, I just made up a story, right?
I do
I'm like,
all the
that's
time.
The truth.
You know, find out later it's like totally not the truth at all.
It's the
You're like,
totally
wow,
not truth at all.
I was convinced, right.
When I start on that path, I'm like, Barbara, chill. Just sit down for a minute.
We have a coaching session, so I'm like, okay, Barbara, let's come back to center.
Just chill out for a second.
Yeah.
Sit with yourself for 2 minutes, and just say, okay, how do you know that she didn't like you from before? Well, she did this, this, and that, and that. I was like, okay.
Okay, we're making a case here.
Yeah.
It's not looking good. It's not looking good still.
I'm like, did she really do those things?
Right.
I'm like, okay, well, everybody has bad days, right? Okay, she looked to me that way. I think she looked at me that way. But so-and-so was standing right next to her, and he did say this, and she could have been rolling her eyes at him, not me. I have no idea which one it is, but why am I making this story up?
Right, why am I going to assume the worst when it might not be true?
And that's just, one example. It could be with the whole slew of things, like with email and the way something comes across, and it's like, well, I did say that, but she's saying that I never communicated that, but I did communicate that. And then I just go through my email and I look at it and I'm like, there it is. I did say that.
Right.
And a lot of times I won't even send that to that person and say, see, I did say it.
Right.
Because I don't want to make myself right and them wrong. I just know I'm right. I'm like, it's cool.
Wow. Now that is big.
Yeah.
Because it's so difficult, I think, when somebody like attacks you or accuses you of something or thinks you didn't, or whatever it is,
right? And
you find that you're like, wait, no, that's not true. Especially if they came towards you like in an aggressive way. In your business, in my business, this does happen. In a lot of your businesses, I'm sure this happens. It's hard not to just come back and be like, no, this is what actually happened.
Yeah. Well, in those situations, I truly do. Like when somebody's too aggressive, and I think, it could apply to other people, but if someone's too aggressive in the way that they're talking to me, I already know that there can be no solution that's going to come out of that.
They're not going to hear you.
They're not going to hear me. And so, that's why I'm like, I don't even care. I don't even sit there and think, well, is it my fault or her fault? I'm just like, hey, you and I are not going to have this conversation right now because we're not going to get to a resolution like this. And I think only when you can, when you know yourself and you stand firm in what you believe in, and you put those boundaries up. And that's a big one to say, you're yelling right now and nothing is going to come out of this.
Like at times I've been called this. I know, like, oh, you're too nice, right?
Yeah.
And I've learned as I've gotten older to be a little more reserved, Yeah, but I feel like at times, and it's not with the right people, nothing negative ever comes from it.
Yeah.
Right? With the right people, they're nice back and everything's cool and you're like, life is good. But with the wrong people, if you're too nice, there are just certain personality types that are more likely, I've noticed in my life anyway, to want to take advantage or more likely to be aggressive towards you. And I've encountered a couple of those types of people this year, and it made me want to rethink my approach, because I was like, wow, I'm in this industry, maybe I need to change how I act. Maybe I need to show people that they can't talk to me that way by responding, not in anger or being crazy, but just responding to like
Yeah.
what they're saying in a stern manner so that they don't bother me. What do you think about that?
That's the only way to do it, really, because you want to keep being yourself.
Right.
Right? You don't want to change or try to change so that people know, like, I can't mess with her.
Like, I don't want to scare people.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the aggressive person. It's like, I can't mess with her because but I don't want people to think, oh, well, I can just do whatever.
Yeah. Well, they have to learn that, and that's just the bad part, is that when they put their toe over that line, you're going to...
You have to chop it off.
Yeah, you will have to chop it off.
All right, you heard it here first. Barbara, you're awesome. Thank you for giving us all your advice. I'm going to go home watch.
Hi, I'm Barbara Arredondo. I'm a residential real estate agent with Clay Stapp Co. I'm self-motivated, resourceful, insightful, a problem solver. I'm a creative thinker and action-oriented. My values are the A, B, C, and D: accountability, bravery, courage, and decisiveness. The real me shows up every day. I'm not fearless, but I have the courage to face the things that frighten me. I rise up to the occasion and take risks rather than sit comfortably where the fear wants me to remain. I hold the keys to my truth. It's an honor to serve my clients. Every person who hires me experiences a white glove service. It's highly likely their sale, purchase, or both will be the most expensive transaction of their life. Regardless of price point, the entire experience with me will feel like you have your own personal concierge. What are my peers not doing? I fill the void with launch parties, social shots, hiring specialized photographers nobody else is using, connecting through visual content, partnering with other agents, and leveraging their strengths. I want you to think of me when you're thinking about moving.
If ever I had a video, would you dance in it? Would you dance in it? In it? Oh, sunshine, you are my sunshine. Let it in, let it in. Oh, sunshine, you are my sunshine.
Celebrity secret for camera-ready lashes? Daniela Bell Lashes. Stop using damaging lash extensions. Get glamorous lashes with this amazing alternative. Lashes that are handmade, 3D, cruelty-free, and 100% mink. Light as a feather for maximum comfort. Designed with a memory band to create a custom fit. So easy to use, wear them up to 35 times. Faster, healthier, and affordable.